Hey, what's up, it's Figure Hunter, and today we're going to look at a side-by-side comparison of the Fenix 7 versus the Fenix 6. So there's a lot of changes in the overall body size and the body style. People have asked what the sort of size differences are because the appearance is that the Fenix 7 looks a little bit bigger, a little bit bulkier, and we'll see side-by-side actually it's a little bit different. It's actually not as big, not as bulky. We're going to look at the overall weight comparisons. I'm going to do a light meter gauge just to test the overall brightness of the backlight when maxed out at full brightness, so you can get a full detailed overview when it comes to the casing, the backlight, and the overall sort of size and weight of these two watches, specifically the 7 versus the 6, as the 7 is just hot off the press. So let's dive in. We're just looking at hands-on. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing for more, and let's dive in. Okay, so looking at these two side by side, you can see the obvious differences in the case design. You know, when you look at it sort of face to face, I will say that the 7 looks bigger and bolder. It does have a little bit bigger edges on the arm bars because they have the screws built into that, and you have this smooth face instead of this bolted face. I really do like the touches where they have these little like etched in T looking things, look like a little Tesla emblem, and you can just see the overall differences in the bezel and what it would look like in real life. So you know, these are both set to full brightness. You can see that the new screen quality is crisper. This is one of the good versions of the Fenix 6 series, so it's not washed out. This is what a clear version looks like, and this is what the new Fenix 7 looks like as far as the clarity of the lines, the colors, the blacks, and it's a lot crisper looking. But you can see the lugs are skinnier here and the lugs are thicker here because they added, that's where they put the bolts in. But overall, if you were to look at it and want to actually gauge what the size is to see how, if there is any size difference. So you can see here, if we just take the size, it's just a little bit under 47, 46.6. And if you were to try to do the same here, you're going to see that the size difference is a little bit bigger, like 0.4 millimeters, maybe 0.5 millimeters thicker. So it does have a slightly thicker. Obviously, the distance between those two is going to be different because that's where they put the bolts. You can see the Elevate 4.0 with the new pulse ox and heart rate sensor versus the Elevate 3.0. I do like that it has this big metal edge to it, so it's going to protect the heart rate sensor a little bit more accurately, as well as this is a plastic covering and this is a glass covering. They both have the metal backs. They both use the quick fit system. They both do the same charging cord. This is a little bit flatter. You can see it's got curved edges. This is a little bit more flat. I think it feels really comfortable because the flat just sort of sits snugly against your wrist. And then obviously on the side, you can see that this now has a guard around the start stop so that you don't as easily accidentally press start or press stop on your activity, and then the buttons are basically the same. When you go to look at it sort of one thickness versus another, I don't know if you can tell with just the naked eye, but the Fenix 7 is actually more thin. So it may be 0.4 to 0.5 millimeters thicker, but when you go to measure the thickness, this is 15.6 millimeters thick, and the Fenix 6 is, yeah, look at that, 15.7. So it's just barely thinner. So I actually thought when my first reading it was less thin. You can see some of the band differences. So the original Fenix 6 bands had these ridges in it. I don't like that at all. I like the smooth ridges. The new rubber texture does feel a little bit better. It feels a little bit more cushy, not necessarily more stretchy, but just a little bit better. Obviously on the Fenix 7, you now have touch screen. You don't have that before. It's all buttons, and you can turn that off or turn it on. You can do whatever you want. Fully customizable, but this just to show you a difference in how they look and the overall sort of appearance. And then if you were to go and look at the weight, we want to be able to see, like, is one of them significantly heavier? So we're going to compare it first to the Fenix 6. Make sure it's all on there. The Fenix 6, 7980 grams, and the Fenix 7, 79 grams. So 78 grams. So it's almost the same in weight. Okay, 81 that time. Don't know why it's different. 79 grams. So it's basically the same. We're going to do a light meter test. So these are both set up to full brightness. And the way you do a light meter test is you just set it on the flashlight. Obviously the backlight set to full brightness. Put it on the flashlight, and then we'll go away, take the brightness measurement, and come back. All right, so in actually recording it is 75 lumens, which is actually brighter than most Fenixes I've tested. And I feel like that's even higher than when I first tested it. 75 lumens here, 85 lumens here. So it's 10 lumens brighter at full backlight in full flashlight mode. So that's going to basically gauge the difference between the brightness. It's going to get a little bit more higher percentage on the Fenix 7 versus the 6. Let's talk about it. And there you have it. So actually the Fenix 7 will appear bigger, but it's actually not that much bigger. So obviously it's 0.4, 0.5 millimeters wider, and the lugs look bigger because they are bigger, because that's where the bolts are applied now versus on the bezel on the Fenix 6. It's going to be the same width. It's going to be just slightly lighter. So in general of overall experience, it's going to look a little bit bigger, but it's actually going to be almost the exact same size with just a different body layout. Obviously, you're going to get a little bit brighter backlight, but not quite that bright, that much brighter. These are, you know, light years brighter than many of the other transflectives on the market. So Coros Vertex 2, Coros Vertex, those are coming in like 27 lumens versus 75 and 85. You have the Suunto 9, which I think was at 30 or 35 lumens versus 85 and 75. The Suunto 9 Peak, all of those transflective displays, some of them don't even have backlight gauge where you can't turn the backlight up like on the Vertex and the Epix Pro and Vertex 2. But these have fully customizable backlight brightness. You can see on the Fenix 7 that it's actually gotten the good colorization, and it looks like it's even gotten a little bit better on the quality of the blacks and the colors alongside it. So good screen quality there, and definitely the best transflective screen on the market versus many of the others that are out there that are using transflective memory and pixel technology. So with that, that is the Fenix 7 versus the 6, and all of like the nitpicky details and all the nuances of the casing differences. There's lots of testing still to come on the 7, on the Fenix, on the heart rate, on a lot of different aspects of these two watches because they're hot off the press. So Fit Gear Hunter, thanks so much for watching.